I'm co-owner of this business, Tree Spirits Winery and Distillery, with my friend Steve Buxbaum. We're located over in Oakland on Route 23. Some of you may have stopped by. I hope you will at some point. We produce a line of sparkling wines and distilled spirits made from local products, not grapes. Artwork by Lisa Oakes. We have a tasting room, and one of the things I've learned from working in the tasting room is that people have a basic understanding about how wine is made. They have no idea on how spirits are made. And so I thought it'd be kind of fun to talk about, winemaking and then spirit making, just sort of educate the masses here a little bit and maybe get you over to the winery to buy some of this stuff. My girlfriend Karen and I started making wine about 15 years ago when we realized that we either had to cut back on our drinking or reduce the cost of a bottle of wine. We started making kit wine. I don't know, some of you have probably done this. You can actually make a decent bottle of wine this way. Maine allows you to make 250 gallons of wine per household per year. And as our production grew with our hobby, we moved it from the kitchen to this barn I owned in Oakland. Very picturesque. One of our earlier offerings was called Villa Trela. When Steve and I started the business, we decided to use the existing facility but upgrade it a little bit. We put in a nice production facility, tasting room, fancied up the outside and hauled the trailer away, which probably is the sole reason that the value of the property has doubled. When Karen and I were experimenting with wine, we started with kit wines and then varietal juices, and then we actually went and got grapes down in Boston, but we thought it might be kind of fun to use some local products, so we actually picked apples at a friend's of ours' backyard and pressed them in another friend's press and made an apple wine, and it actually was pretty good. Then we have a sugar maple tree in our backyard, so we thought, well, let's try that. So we went out and tapped the tree, boiled it down, made a mess out of the kitchen, but came up with a nice bottle of wine. We thought, well, this is good, but let's not do the boiling down thing again. It turns out you can make wine from any liquid that has sugar in it. Okay? Now, apple cider seems sweet to everyone, but to actually make wine out of it, you've got to add about a pound of sugar for every gallon of cider. Maple syrup is incredibly sweet. We dilute it, but it's diluted 2 parts water to 1 part to 1 part syrup. The reason sugar is important is because yeast turns sugar into alcohol. I like to think about yeast as being like Pac-Man. It goes around and it gobbles up all the sugar, turns it into alcohol and carbon dioxide. Or something like that. So being a vintner or being a winemaker is sort of like being a farmer. You've got this little animal. It's actually a fungus. And you want to create an environment that is going to, a nurturing environment for it so it'll live free and prosper. This is where we make our wine. This is our production facility. These are 3,000 liter fermenters we have. We put our cider or maple syrup diluted with water into them. We create a nurturing environment. We add some nutrients. We balance the pH. We toss our yeast in. If we've done everything right, the yeast is going to be happy. It's going to produce, and we're going to make a nice wine. Since we make sparkling wine, we're not done at that point. We actually take our wine and put it into these oversized beer kegs. We put them in our walk-in cooler and chill them to 40 degrees. We hook a CO2 can to them, or bottle to them, pressurize them at 40 psi, and after a week, we've got sparkling wine. Who knew it was that simple? Unfortunately, you can't just pour sparkling wine into a bottle and put a cork on it, because you end up with a bottle full of foam. So we have this thing called a counter-pressure bottler, which actually pressurizes the bottle before the wine goes in. Ours is made in Hungary. We think it's the only one in the U.S. It came with instructions in Hungarian. So wine, it turns out, is only about 12% alcohol. And if we want to make a stronger beverage, we can't use yeast, because yeast actually commits suicide. It's up to 12, 14, 50% alcohol, and it dies. So we got to do something else if we want to make a spirit, and so that's where a still comes in. What we do is we put the wine on the left-hand side in that big container. We heat it up till it boils. We collect the steam, it passes over to the right-hand side there, and cool it in a condenser, and the liquid that comes out is whatever it was that we boiled off in the first place. Now, Different things boil at different temperatures. This is actually Nate's grandfather, a well-known bootlegger from way back when. But he's got a nice little still there. He's got his boiler, he's got his collection apparatus for the steam, and he's got his condenser, and he's got a bucket on the ground where the stuff's dribbling into. This is our still. It's not nearly as elegant as his, but it's got the basic components. It's got a container at the bottom that we fill up with 50 gallons of wine. It boils, steam rises up through the columns. It's got condensers at the top where we chill that steam. It dribbles down through that hose there, those two hoses, and into that glass carboy on the right-hand side. This is what you get when you're distilling stuff. This is something that would bring a smile to any distiller or bootlegger. This is 65% alcohol, basically moonshine. No matter what you're distilling, it comes out water clear. This is what it looks like. Our license for selling stuff is 40 proof. So that's 135 proof. We actually have to dilute it in order to sell it. So we dilute, this is our Applejack. We dilute it with just a little bit of water, get it down to 40 proof. But for our maple spirit, we actually add a little bit of maple syrup as well, give it a little color and give it a little bit of maple flavor. Tree Spirits has only been around for about 7 months, and already we've been fortunate to get some awards. Our apple extra dry sparkling wine has got a double gold medal. Our maple demi-sec sparkling wine got a silver, and our knotted maple spirit got a bronze at the San Francisco International Wine and Spirit Competition this spring. And we have some sparkling wine for sale at the bar in case anyone